Hola, ¿cómo estás? Mi nombre es Timoteo. Hi, I'm the Reverend Tim Kutzmark, and I serve as minister here at the Unitarian Universalist Church of Fresno, California. It is so great to see you this Sunday morning. And after the week we've had and our country has had, I'm glad that we're together. Today is Bring a Friend Sunday. So if this is your first time joining us, a special welcome to you. We're going to begin the service in about 1 minute, so we'll see you back then. Bye.
Good morning. Buenos dias. Mi nombre es Linda. I'm Linda Tolliday from the Worship Arts team. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Fresno. Welcome to our second Sunday service in 2021. Welcome to Bring a Friend Sunday. And for those friends who are with us for the first time, welcome to this lovingly created introduction to Unitarian Universalism. We welcome you, no matter your age, gender, cultural background, sexual orientation, gender identity, or expression. We welcome you no matter your spiritual beliefs or religious upbringing. We welcome you no matter your disabilities, amount of education, or level of income. You're welcome no matter your documentation status. No human being is illegal at the Unitarian Universalist Church of Fresno. Todos son bienvenidos aquí. Whoever you are, wherever you are on your journey, we welcome you into our virtual sanctuary of memory, hope, and vision. One way to get a sense of who we are as Unitarian Universalists is to take a look at our church mission statement. It captures who we're striving to become as a Unitarian Universalist congregation. We don't always do this perfectly, but we're trying to live more fully into this possibility. As you are comfortable, please join in saying, La misión de la Iglesia Unitaria Universalista de Fresno es amar inclusivamente, crecer espiritualmente, servir con gratitud y trabajar por la justicia. The mission of the Unitarian Universalist Church of Fresno is to love inclusively, grow spiritually, serve gratefully, and work for justice. In that spirit, we have a special musical offering to begin our service. In these complicated, confusing, and uneasy times, this song reminds us that we must keep on moving forward together with love as our guide. All the way from the East Coast, please welcome Emma's Revolution.
Gonna keep on moving forward. Keep on moving forward. Keep on moving forward. Never turning back. Never turning back. Sigamos adelante. Siempre adelante, siempre adelante, sin volver atrás, sin volver atrás. Gonna keep on loving boldly, keep on loving boldly, keep on loving boldly, never turning back, never turning back. Amaremos con pasión, siempre con pasión, siempre con pasión, sin volver atrás, sin volver atrás. Gonna reach across our border, reach across our border, reach across our border, never turning back, never turning back. Vivamos sin fronteras, siempre sin fronteras, siempre sin fronteras, sin volver atrás, sin volver atrás. Gonna reunite the family, reunite the family, reunite the family, never turning back, never turning back. Familias reunidas, siempre reunidas, siempre reunidas, sin volver atrás, sin volver atrás. Gonna keep on moving forward, keep on moving forward, keep on moving forward, never turning back, 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 never turning back.
Peace.
We love you.
Thank you, Emma's Revolution. And it's true, we are going to keep on moving forward together, never turning back, even in the face of hatred and destruction. We are never turning back from our pursuit of justice and love. As we prepare to go to Ida Jones's house and she lights the chalice to officially begin our service, let the sound of the tingsha carry you past any fear or uncertainty and carry you into that place within you that is infused with strength, resilience, hope, and love.
Greetings, everyone. I'm Ida Jones, and I gratefully serve as past president of your Board of Trustees. I had planned for my 3 youngest granddaughters to light the chalice with me. Unfortunately, a family medical issue required that they work elsewhere today. So, I'm holding their pictures here as a proxy. This is my youngest, Jocelyn, and the 2 older grandchildren are Janie and Avery. You may remember them because they attended church with me when we lived in Fresno and until we moved until Elk Grove. They have grown up quite a bit, haven't they? Lean on me when you're not strong. I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on. Those are the words of the refrain from Bill Withers' song, Lean on Me. After he moved to Los Angeles, Withers wrote this song to express how much he missed his friends from his hometown, a coal mining town in West Virginia. Today is Invite a Friend Day at the Unitarian Universalist Church of Fresno. Bill Withers' words musically express the importance of friendship, that is, connections with soulmates. Those friendships become even more meaningful during times of upheaval. On Wednesday, January 6, 2021, after we celebrated victories in Georgia, including election of the first Black man to win a seat to represent Georgia in the United States Senate, there was immediate pushback. A violent assault on that very same Senate, which caused uncertainty, fear, anger, disappointment, and resignation. It is my friends and family, including my church family, that have helped me make it through. It is those friends and family that remind me in many ways, small and large, that I am loved. Although the government and country demonstrate again and again that I and people of color are neither respected nor appreciated, the members of the Unitarian Universalist Church of Fresno, my friends, show me otherwise. And the chalice, the symbol of Unitarian Universalism, is a reminder of that friendship and love. I hope you will join me in lighting a chalice or candle of your own this morning. Let's now join our voices in our song of praise, You Are Welcome Here.
If you are searching, come on in. We're all on this journey that starts within. If you've got a burden, come lay it on down. Raise up your voices as we gather around. Whoever you are, whomever you love, however you came to be in this community, you are welcome here. You are welcome here. If you are joyful or you're concerned, come share your story. The chalice flame burns. If your heart is broken, if you've been disowned, come join our circle. You are not alone. Whoever you are, whomever you love, however you came to be in this community, you are welcome here. You are welcome here. If you are running, you've got the right to seek sanctuary, guided by the light. If you hear that calling, come join the fight, marching for justice, candles lit in the night. Whoever you are, whomever you love, however you came to be in this community, you are welcome here. You are welcome here. You are welcome here.
Hola, soy Danny. Howdy friends, Danny here, and for today's Time for All Ages, I'd like to introduce you to something called a Wonder Box. Wonder Boxes are used in Sunday services and in religious exploration classrooms to help teach children stories or lessons while encouraging their curiosity and their understanding that they can be sources of their own wisdom. So, let's figure out what's in this Wonder Box. Sometimes Wonder Boxes are really fancy and they're covered in glitter, and sometimes they're just plain old wooden boxes like this one. But it's what's inside that counts. So let's find out. Oh, look at this. It's a shirt. But what's on this shirt? What is that? What shape is that? A heart? Did you say a heart? Yeah, I think that is a heart. I wonder what hearts make you think of. Shapes, your body, that thump inside your chest, yeah. I wonder what else hearts make you think of. Did you say love? Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Hearts make me think of love too. And love is really important to Unitarian Universalist. In fact, Unitarian Universalists, or UUs, are sometimes known as the love people. That's because love is a cornerstone of our faith. Back before we merged, when we had two different denominations, Unitarians believed that every person was worthy of love. And Universalists believed in a divine love that was absolutely limitless. Today, we use love as a guidepost to help us know what's wrong and what's right. See, we know that when you love people, we treat them with kindness and fairness and equity. So we feel it's important to build a fair and peaceful world with justice and liberty for all. Justice is really important to Unitarian Universalists too. In fact, a lot of times we say that justice is what love looks like in public. That helps us remember that love and justice aren't just words, they're actions and things that we have to work for. So sometimes love looks different. Love can look like holding a candle at a vigil, or love might look like lifting up the voice of someone who's being ignored. Love can look like being a poll worker or filling out a petition to change a law that's unjust. Sometimes love looks like listening to a friend. I wonder what you think love looks like. I wonder, how will love show up in your life today? Tomorrow? I wonder how you will show love. I wonder.
Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea. Move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me. Fuente de amor, ven hacia mí y al corazón cántale tu compasión. Sopla al volar delicia della vida. Arraigame, libérame, fuente de amor, ven a mí, ven a mí.
Spirit of life, come to us. Come to us. In times of uncertainty, times of fear, times of anxiety, and times like these, like this past week, it's good and important to acknowledge what we're feeling. As I said last week, it's all right to be afraid. It's all right to be unsure. It's all right to feel overwhelmed, anxious. And I want to acknowledge that for many, this ongoing isolation is really making it hard sometimes to get through the day. And I want to just say that you are loved. You are held in love. And so, as is our custom, I invite you to take a breath in, and as you breathe that healing breath in, imagine you're breathing in peace. Hold a moment and breathe out love. And again, breathing in peace. We hold and we breathe out love. Once again, breathing in peace, we hold just a moment, transform it to our love, and breathe out love into the world. And a question emerges for us to contemplate and breathe into. How in the last week were you part of the world's hope and not its hate? This week was filled with so much, from the joy of Georgia to the destructive and deadly assault on democracy by domestic terrorists and white supremacists. In all of this, almost lost was the fact that another law enforcement officer was not charged for using either excessive or deadly force on a Black body. And so this morning we lift up the name of Jacob Blake, who was shot 7 times in the back and left paralyzed. No charges against the police officer. This is a reminder why we still display our Black Lives Matter banners. Because in America, Black lives, brown lives do not matter. If you'd like to lift up Black Lives Matter, please type BLM in the comment box. We move together now into that sacred time where we create the space to hold the stories, the realities of our lives. This is our time of sharing personal joys, concerns, gratitudes, or sadness. If you would like to share this morning, you can do so right in the comment box. And as this happens, we lift up the names of our beloveds who on this day need prayer and love and light and hope. And we especially lift up Linda and Ron S., who are hospitalized at this time. And we also hold in our hearts Lydia F., whose son, Bill, passed into the mysteries of death this week. This week, 2 longtime and beloved church members passed into the mysteries of death, Betty Noblet and Bernadette Siegel. We begin by remembering Betty Noblet. Betty was a mover, taking many of us in her wake. She usually made the first move. She made the first move toward a 63-year marriage and 3 devoted children by initiating a dance date with Bill. She was a strong role model for her children. Her vision was to accept them as the gifts they were and support whatever they needed. She moved many of us by taking leadership roles in education, social justice, local and national community issues. She was the first to speak up and first to apologize when wrong. She listened. She moved us with her keen mind, organizational skills, passion, and love. She was first to step up with a kind word or an invitation to share her culinary gifts. She was first to volunteer when any need arose. She was full of light and incredibly generous. Her light will be missed, but Betty would be the first to tell you it is not gone. We celebrate, too, the life of Bernadette Siegel. Bernadette was a daughter of the San Joaquin Valley, born November 18, 1923 in Helm, California. She was proud to be one of our church's oldest members. Bernadette sparkled with a zest for life, and she would light up any room she entered, making you feel good just being in her presence. She was warm and generous and passionate about doing the right thing. She was a caring, dedicated nurse in her early years. Compassion and justice were core values, which is what drew her to Unitarian Universalism. She co-founded her own congregation. Shortly after moving to Kentucky, she found herself caught in a caravan of cars going to a KKK rally. She realized a need for the Unitarian Universalist message in that city, and Bernadette, her husband Arthur, and another couple founded the Unitarian Fellowship in Bowling Green, Kentucky. She was mother, devoted grandmother, and loving friend, one of which described her as supportive, quirky, sexy, funny, and smart. Bernadette possessed a nearly unparalleled fountain of knowledge of the great American songbook and sang and played those songs on her accordion. When she was performing, she would often say, "In World War II, I used to entertain the troops. And sometimes I'd play the accordion too." The audience would roll in the aisles. For Bernadette, for Betty, for everything that you've shared this morning in the comment box, for all that we hold in the sacred stillness of our beating hearts, and for all those who on this Sunday have no one to remember them, no one to say their name with gentleness or love, we light our candle of community. By our remembering, may we and they be blessed. We light a second candle, as is our custom, this time for the almost 2 million citizens of the world who have lost their lives in this pandemic.
Voice still and small, deep inside all, I hear you call, singing. In storm and rain, sorrow and pain, still we'll remain singing. Calming my fears, quenching my tears, through all the years, singing. Pequeña voz, dentro del ser, oigo tu voz, cantando. En mi dolor, llanto y terror, siento tu amor, cantando. Siempre darás calma y sol más en mi pesar, cantando.
Let the sound of this Tibetan singing bowl, handcrafted high in the Himalayas in the 1700s, let its sound carry us to that place where we can hear the voice, still and small, deep inside all. Will you join with me in the spirit of mindfulness and prayer with these words from Oprah Winfrey? Let us pray. Open your heart and quietly say to yourself the only prayer you'll ever need. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You're still here. You get another chance this day to do better and be better. Another chance to become more of who you are and to fulfill what you are meant to fulfill. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Muchas gracias.
I grew up in a home that was filled with two things: love and Jesus. Jesus was part of the air my family breathed. He was a kind of security blanket. He was like this invisible but ever-present superhero who was always on my side and loved me unconditionally. When I turned 12, my family thought it was time for me to go to church youth group and get a more formal education. So they sent me to Christ the Redeemer Church, where for the first time I met a judgmental and punishing God. It was strange and uncomfortable, and I began to question what I believed. This came with a big, unhealthy dose of shame. My mom raised me, saying that as long as we kids were happy and believed in Jesus, she was happy and would have done a good job as a mother. But I really didn't like the hateful Jesus, and I really didn't understand a God who would doom people to eternal hell if he was supposed to be all loving. I felt ashamed. I was feeling my family and my God. That shame weighed on me more and more as I hid my lack of faith from those I loved. Then, one day at the bus stop, a kid asked me what book I was reading, and I met Kate. We became fast friends, exploring treetops and oceans together, becoming so close we knew where to find the mugs and the good chocolate in each other's homes. Kate wasn't like any friend I'd ever had. Her family didn't say grace. They listened to NPR instead of country music, and they had a wall of books in their living room. One day, when her mom was driving us home from school, NPR played a segment on reincarnation. And soon the whole car was in a discussion about whether it was possible and what it would mean. I was shocked, and it took more than a little bit of prompting from Kate's mom to get me to offer up an opinion. For the first time ever, someone cared about my perspective on a religious subject, and it wasn't to make sure I knew the right answer. It took a little doing, but Kate eventually got me to go to church with her, and for that, I will forever be grateful. I was welcomed with such love into that small little fellowship that even an introvert like me was able to open up. And religious exploration, we had more conversations like the one from the car ride. And when I started to go to youth conferences, I found myself co-creating worship services. Me. That weighted blanket of shame got lighter and lighter. That first year as a youth at Buckman Bridge Unitarian Universalist Church forever changed me. Now I was in the driver's seat of my own belief system. I quickly latched on to the idea of God is love, and that's become part of my DNA. Living into my faith became as natural as breathing. It has shaped my life in ways I never imagined. From career choices to personal relationships, my Unitarian Universalist principles have become part of my moral compass, and they compel me to make the world a better place. That means, in moments like this one, when it feels like our country is torn apart by the twin pandemics of COVID-19 and racism, I have an obligation to work for change. When democracy is threatened, like it was in the assault on the Capitol, I must use my voice. When patriarchal policies try to control women's bodies and use shame to shove people into binaries to make society more comfortable, I must show up with love to support and organize. There is no space in my faith for injustice. After all, we are the love people. We believe in justice, equity, and compassion. We are Unitarian Universalist.
The tide is rising, and so are we. The tide is rising, and so are we. The tide is rising, and so are we. This is where we are called to be. This is where we are called to be. Como la marea nos alzamos, como la marea nos alzamos, como la tormenta nos levantamos. Llegó la hora de alzarnos, llegó la hora de alzarnos. The task is mighty, and so are we. The task is mighty, and so are we. The task is mighty, and so are we. This is where we are called to be. This is where we are called to be. The storm is raging, and so are we. The storm is raging, and so are we. The storm is raging, and so are we. This is where we are called to be. This is where we are called to be. The world is ready, and so are we. The world is ready, and so are we. The world is ready, and so are we. This is where we are called to be. This is where we are called to be. Como la marea nos alzamos, como la marea nos alzamos, como la tormenta nos levantamos. Llegó la hora de alzarnos, llegó la hora de alzarnos. The tide is rising, and so are we. The tide is rising, and so are we. The tide is rising, and so are we. This is where we are called to be. This is where we are called to be. The tide is rising, and so are we. The tide is rising, and so are we. The tide is rising, and so are we. This is where we are called to be. This is where we are called to be. This is where we are called to be.
This is where we are called to be. This is where we are called to be. On Wednesday afternoon, we watched, aghast and horrified, as white nationalist domestic terrorists defiled our country's cathedral of democracy, our nation's capital, and those elected to carry out the will of her people were attacked with deliberate, destructive, and deadly force. An afternoon that Maureen Dowd captured yesterday in the New York Times, saying, "The president's inhumanity, his sick torrent of lies and incitement came to its inevitable, shameful end on Wednesday, when a mob smeared blood, excrement, hate, and death all over the Capitol." She continued, "Seeing the mob crash in, seeing lawmakers crouching and hiding and making calls to plead for the cavalry to come from any of the myriad federal or local police forces as Confederate flags waved was a heartbreaking disgrace. Not only was a Capitol police officer killed after being hit in the head by a fire extinguisher, the entire security apparatus meant to protect our democracy failed. You know, of all the sights and sounds of that afternoon, and there's so many, there are two images forever seared into my memory. The first, the sight of that large Confederate flag, a symbol of sedition and slavery, being proudly paraded in those hallowed halls. The second, the sight of gallows, complete with noose, erected outside the Capitol building, a symbol of the lynching of thousands and thousands and thousands of Black lives. Those two images, and many others, made it clear that mob was not only attacking the democratic process upheld through the certification of the presidential election. That mob was gleefully and openly committing an act of racial terrorism. In that sacred building, built stone by the labor of Black slaves, their message was clear. America is meant to be white. America is meant to be ruled by white people. If you are a Black person, an indigenous person, or a person of color, this land is not your land. You have no voice. You have no vote. You are not part of our America. As a person who is Caucasian, I can never know what Wednesday afternoon felt like to members of our congregation who are Black. As a Caucasian person, I can never know what Wednesday afternoon felt like to members of our congregation who are indigenous. As a Caucasian person, I can never understand what Wednesday afternoon felt like to members of our congregation who are persons of color. All I can say is that I am so sorry that you had to feel that once again. As the afternoon descended toward dusk, we all listened to commentary, trying to fathom and encapsulate the events of the day, hearing words such as unprecedented. We heard people say in one form or another, what happened this afternoon was non-American. That was not America on display. That evening, the Reverend Dr. William Barber pointedly challenged that assessment. Reverend Barber, you might remember, is co-chair, along with Reverend Theo Harris of the Poor People's Campaign, a national call for moral revival, a coalition of marginalized groups calling for equity and justice for all people in this country, not just the white and wealthy. Wednesday night, Reverend Barber posted this reflection. In this moment that we're seeing tonight, some say that we've not seen anything like this since 1812, when the British broke into the Capitol and burned down the Capitol building. But I would suggest that for oppressed people, Native people, Black people, Latinos, we've seen this many times. Whether it's the mob destruction of the Native people's lands, whether it was the mob destruction of our sacred sanctuaries after slavery, before slavery, as a matter of fact, the terrorizing of communities, the Wilmington riots, Roseville, the riots in Tulsa, Oklahoma, the riots of 1919, the Klan marching down the streets of Washington, D.C. brazenly in the early 1900s, Black men coming back from the war being beaten. We've seen this kind of mob mentality. Maybe it wasn't in the Capitol building, but it was in our sacred spaces and on public streets. And so what you're seeing today has an element of America in it. It's not non-American. It's un-American. It should be based on our Constitution, but it's not non-American. There's been times that we've seen it throughout America. Let's sit with that for a moment. We've seen this kind of mob mentality. Maybe it wasn't in the Capitol building, but it was in our sacred spaces and on public streets. And so what you're seeing today has an element of America in it. It is not non-American. It's un-American. It should be based on our Constitution, but it's not non-American. There's been times that we've seen it throughout America. If that scares or saddens or sobers you, type the letter S in the comment box. As Unitarian Universalists, we share core beliefs that unify us as a people of faith. As Unitarian Universalists, we share core beliefs about how we're called to be in relationship with each other and the world. As I shared in a sermon last year, Unitarian Universalists are people who believe in the transforming power of love. That love compels us to see every person as having inherent worth and dignity. It challenges us to see every person as having potential goodness within them. As Unitarian Universalists, we don't divide people into the saved and the unsaved, the righteous and those who are no good, the good race and the bad races. That means, according to our Unitarian Universalist religious values, everyone should be treated with respect. Everyone should have a place at the table. Everyone should have justice and equity due to them. Now, honestly, we live these values out far too imperfectly, but that is our religious aspiration, our vision, our goal. It's our purpose for being together. Unitarian Universalists also believe that everyone and everything is connected. Because of that connection, we have a sacred responsibility to everyone and everything on this planet. We must act towards everyone and everything with care, concern, and compassion. There's an underlying unity of life and all people. Divisions are not predetermined, but created by unskillful, misguided, and sometimes cruel and inhumane human choices. In a nutshell, Unitarian Universalism teaches that we are all connected, that we are stronger together than apart, that we are called to create justice, and we're responsible for each other. If these core beliefs resonate with you, type QU for Unitarian Universalist in the comment box. Susan Frederick Gray and Erica A. Hewitt, both Unitarian Universalist ministers, write, "We know that hurt moves through the world, perpetrated by action, inaction, and indifference. Our Unitarian Universalist values call us to live in the reality of the heartbreak of our world, remembering that no one is outside the circle of love. We know that things break or break down. Promises, friendships, sobriety, hope, communication. This breaking happens because our human hearts and our very institutions are frail and imperfect. We make mistakes. Life is messy. With compassion as our guide, we seek the well-being of all people. We seek to dismantle systems of oppression that undermine our collective humanity. We believe we're here to guide one another toward love, because no one is outside the circle of love. No matter how fractured we are or once were, we can make whole people of ourselves. We are whole at our core because of the great, unnameable, sometimes inconceivable love in which we live. No one is outside the circle of love. I'm going to share a true story with you. It's one I was given permission to share. I've shared it several times over the last few years, but I think it's worth hearing again, especially for anyone joining us for the first time on this Bring a Friend Sunday, and especially in light of the immoral message unleashed yet again on Wednesday afternoon by a hate-filled mob and their enablers. A message that divides people into groups of those who are worthy and those who are not, those who should have a voice and those who should be silent, those who are part of America and those who are not, those who are righteous and patriotic and those who are no good. This is that story. It was a rainy Sunday morning in early December, the day she first crossed the threshold and stepped into church. This was years ago in another part of the country in another congregation. I remember seeing Sarah enter. Her hair was damp. She looked rushed and anxious. We were well into singing our opening hymn, and under the cover of the song, she slipped into the last seat on the left side of the sanctuary. I noticed her once or twice during the service, but she didn't seem engaged. Her eyes just stared out the window. At the end of the service, as is typical, I invited everyone to stand and join hands for the benediction, and then began with my favorite words to close the service. Go now in peace. May you leave this place knowing you are good and knowing you are loved. The service ended. Sarah quickly slipped out the sanctuary doors, talking to no one. But she came back the following Sunday. Week after week, she came back. Her rushed and anxious energy became slower and more centered. Within a year, she had found her place. She was part of our social action team, helping steer our marriage equality work at the State House, and was coordinating the volunteer ushers each week. She met a wonderful woman, fell in love, and they were planning their wedding. She had found her spiritual home, and Unitarian Universalism became her chosen faith. A few years later, Sarah told me something. Do you remember that first Sunday I came to church, that rainy, cold Sunday? She asked. Yes, of course I remember, I answered. She went on. What I've never told you was that the day before, on Saturday, I'd just been released from the psych ward where I had been for 10 days after trying to kill myself. I got out on Saturday and didn't know what I was going to do, except that I knew I would try to kill myself again the next week. When I woke up on Sunday morning, I remember feeling that I didn't want to be alone, that I needed to be with other people. Someone had told me about this funky church on the west side of town that welcomed everybody. And I thought, I'll just go sit there so I will not feel so alone. I didn't listen to much of what was happening in the service. My head was too much of a jumble, thinking about ending it all. But then, at the end of the service, he made us stand up and join hands for the benediction. This stranger reached out to me. It had been so long since someone had held my hand. I suddenly didn't feel so completely alone. Then you spoke those benediction words I will never forget. Go now in peace. May you leave this place knowing you are good and knowing you are loved. That was the first time in my life anyone had ever told me that I was good. This church, this Unitarian Universalist faith told me I was good. That moment saved my life. No one should be outside the circle of love. May this be our religious aspiration, our vision, our goal, our purpose for being together.
this table, everyone is welcome. At this table, everyone is seen. At this table, everybody matters. No one falls between. At this table, you can say whatever. At this table, you can speak your mind. At this table, everything's forgiven. There's enough for everyone. So come as you are. Remember that the door is always open. Yes, come as you are. The perfect gift that you can bring is your heart. So come as you are. At this table, there will be no judgment. At this table, mercy has a seat. At this table, we're all sons and daughters. There's no place I'd rather be. So come as you are. Remember that the door is always open. Come as you are. The perfect gift that you can bring is your heart. So come as you are. Come as you are. At this table, everyone is welcome. At this table, everybody cares. At this table, everybody matters. So come, pull up a chair.
Good morning again. It's Linda Tolliday. Welcome back to my home. Each month we hold a special offering for a social justice group or individual or organization that's in alignment with our Unitarian Universalist values. This Sunday, we're pleased to lift the important work of Wings Advocacy Fresno. Wings provides furniture and household items once a person or family who has been homeless has been homed. Wings would like to thank the members of this church for their continued support financially and with many volunteers. Volunteers who serve on the board, work at the warehouse, organize donation pickups, and help deliver furniture. Without this support, Wings would not be able to help assist as many families in Fresno and Clovis, families that include veterans and survivors of domestic violence and human trafficking. With your donations, Wings is able to purchase mattresses, pillows, and welcome baskets. Wings provides clients with a welcome basket filled with cleaning, hygiene, and paper products. These necessary items can't be purchased with an EBT card. This is Wings' gift to our clients, and many clients send thank you notes in appreciation. Wings just participated in a special project providing 165 welcome baskets to those moving into the newly renovated apartments in the old Smuggler's Inn at Blackstone in Dakota. The County of Fresno and RH Builders bought the property for low-income housing. In this time of pandemic, a safe place to call home is more important than ever before. Wings volunteers make a home for the most vulnerable members of our community. Thank you again for your continued support. Please give as generously as you're able to through Cash App, credit card, PayPal, or by sending a check with a note, Social Justice Sunday Offering. In the spirit of gracious giving, let us join our voices. If not us, then who? If not open hearts, then what? If not now, then when? If not here, then where? If not generously, then how? If not us, then who? The morning offering for Wings Advocacy Fresno will now be gratefully received.
Howdy again, friends. I have a few reminders for you. Tonight is another showing of Faith in Film with Reverend Tim. Tonight's film is entitled Slavery by Another Name. Friday, the 15th, participants of the class Building the World We Dream About will be holding an evening worship on Zoom at 6:30 p.m. This service is centered around their journey, growth, and learnings, taking the 6-month-long course about creating a racially just and multicultural world. Saturday, the 16th, I'll be hosting Children's Religious Exploration on Zoom at noon. We'll be exploring the idea of stillness together. And last but not least, Sunday the 17th kicks off the class Art That Makes You Feel. You can join artist Katie Smart for an exploration of spirituality through visual art and an examination of physical, created, and emotional landscapes. You'll be given the opportunity to share art that speaks to your heart and observe and learn about other artists and their work. Links to all of these things can be found in your order of service or on the UU Fresno website under updates.
Hey, hello again. I'm here to give you your update on our upcoming auction. You should have gotten an email with graphics this past Wednesday with a link to our virtual website, 2021, a cyberspace auction. There's also a link to the auction on our website, and that's our web address, www.uufresno.org. We hope you'll go to the site today and click on register, because you must register so you'll be able to bid January 31st through February 7th. Credit card information can be entered now or when checking it out. And I got to tell you, the website looks fantastic, and there's so many cool things that you're going to want to bid on. What you want to do after clicking on register is click auction, and then you'll be there at that awesome site. Bidding will start on January 31st at 12:01. It's not too late for you to donate to the auction. We could still use some wonderful items or experiences, and gift cards have been donated. If you'd like to donate or brainstorm with somebody what you could donate, email us at auction@uufresno.org. Keep checking back at this awesome website. We have been adding new items daily. What's great about this is you could invite friends to go and register and look at the items that are available for auction. So you can bid even if you're not a member or friend of the church. And it's going to be a really fun. It's also going to be vitally important as a fundraiser. I know I'm going to bid often and bid big. Thanks.
Greetings again. I'm Ida Jones, along with the proxies for my 3 youngest grandchildren, Jocelyn, Janie, and Avery. Welcome again to my home. Thank you to all those who contributed to the services which make these virtual services so meaningful. I do connect in other ways on social media, but it is the shared virtual services that help me appreciate and deepen those crucial connections when we cannot connect in person. As we prepare to end our service and enter into the afternoon, please join us in our chalice extinguishing words. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts.
Extinguimos esta llama, pero no la luz de la verdad, el calor de comunidad o el fuego de nuestro compromiso. Estos los llevaremos en el corazón.
Take care and ashe. I look forward to seeing you again soon.
Muchas gracias, Ida. Well, dear ones, it's time for the end of our service. We have my closing words and our sung benediction, a postlude, and then today a postlude that I know you will not want to miss, so please stay for that. Let's take our hands, place them over our hearts. Go now in peace. May you leave this place knowing you are good and knowing you are loved. Take your love, share it with the world. Stay safe until we meet again. And may the longtime sun shine upon you. All love surround you. And that pure light that is within you guide your way on. Blessed be. Amen.
May we have safe passage. May we have safe passage on our way. Safe passage on your way, brother. Safe passage on your way, sister. Safe passage on your way. Children, safe passage on our way. May we have safe passage. Safe passage. May we have safe passage. Safe passage on our way. Shalom and assalamu alaikum. You can say that you stand apart. Put a fence around your yard. You can build a tall rampart and guard it with a gun. You can dig yourself a moat, burn the bridge and burn the boat. It won't matter that much, you know, 'cause all the world is one. All the world is one. Big parade every Independence Day. You can raise up your own flag and sing your own anthem. It will ring out in the air with all the other anthems there, till the winds of the earth declare that all the world is one. All the world is one. Go and ask the Buddha when he's sitting under the tree. Go ask Walt Whitman when he's looking out at the sea. Ask Alan Shepard when he's standing up on the moon, staring at that pearl of blue. Ask an atom in the breath you take. Ask the water by the riverbank. Ask a strand of DNA, it's written in your blood. One life running in your veins, one light from one big bang. You can try and separate it, but all the world is one. All the world is one. Go and ask the Buddha when he's sitting under the tree. Ask Annie Dillard when she's up on Tinker Creek. Ask Alan Shepard when he's standing up on the moon, staring at that pearl. You can take an outbound train, try and make a getaway. You can ride off like John Wayne into the setting sun. But earthlings don't leave town, they just go round and round until they figure out all the world is one. All the world is one. All the world is one. Why are there so many songs about rainbows, and what's on the other side? Rainbows are visions, but only illusions, and rainbows have nothing to hide. So we've been told, and some choose to believe it. I know they're wrong, wait and see. Someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and me. Who said that every wish would be heard and answered when wished on the morning star? Somebody thought of that, and someone believed it, and look what it's done so far. What's so amazing that keeps us stargazing, and what do we think we might see? Someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and me. All of us under its spell. We know that it's probably magic. Have you been half asleep, and have you heard voices? I've heard them calling my name. Is this the sweet sound that calls the young sailors? The voice might be one and the same. I've heard it too many times to ignore it. It's something that I'm supposed to be. Someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and me. Love